Hey Chris, how's it going, man? It's Yoni here, just having a look at your assignment from last week, and yeah, I love the both of them. The polishing's coming out really nice. I think one comment that's coming in, that I'd make a note in general in your cooking one, where the guys with the knife, it's just looking at some points, like especially when he's kind of like beating his chest with the knife. That looks a little bit too smooth right now. It doesn't have nice of that punchiness because at least to me, it's not reading very much like a double tap like on the chest like that. So I think that's just a little bit of spacing that you need to solve out there. It might be something that you need to go in and maybe frame by frame a little bit, so it feels a bit more tough like you had before. And on your breakout scene, it's really nice to see it, with the bishop rig. I know your mentor told you to do that, and yeah, I just think there's a few things that you should look into over the next couple of weeks, especially as I know you haven't got any facial animation on him yet, or at least not too much, kind of like in the later scenes as well. The thing that I'd point out, especially at the beginning, which is really nice, is that just keeping the character kind of like with the intention of what he's actually doing, and not doing things for the purpose of doing things to an extent. Because when he looks out the window, that's really cool. But when he looks down at the toilet, is very much like he has the same attitude towards both, if that makes any sense. So he's kind of like looking out of the window, checking that there's no guards around, and then he looks at the toilet from one side, then he looks at it from the other. It's almost like he's inspecting both at the beginning, or at least that's how it's reading to me. And it's more along the lines of he should really know what the toilet's actually all about. So when he looks down there, I think you just want to push the pose on frame 56, to make him a bit more kind of like surreptitious, or a bit more nervous, or a bit more intent towards the toilet itself, and just looking like, okay, now's the time, okay. So when he comes over and he starts pushing things out the way, then when he gets into the hole in the ground after it's out of the way, around frame 203, he kind of like has a look around, and he kind of like goes from happy to a happy, oh, I'm getting out of here pose. But it's almost like that look around is more along the lines of that final check to make sure that everything's alright. So it's almost like he should maybe like look at the bed, and maybe the bed should have some form of, kind of like pillows or something like that on there. And then he looks out, of the jail cell itself to make sure that everything's still okay. And just have that last kind of like, almost like that attitude of, when you're going to the airport and you're doing, okay, have I got my passport, have I got my bags, is everything alright, okay, fine, all check, and then leave. You can get a bit of a smile as he goes out. I still think that works, but he goes from happy, right from frame, 207 when he does his check, and then when he goes out for it by 240. I just think it's a little part there where he could just push a few more ideas in, and this is all facial stuff. It really doesn't need to be different in the timing. So when he comes down onto the vent, he has a look around, grabs himself there. Him falling down feels a little bit soft right now. When he's looking around, he takes a step, and when he falls down, he kind of like takes, there's a little bit of the spacing between the drop from 380 to 387 is just a little bit too smooth. So it's very even the way that he falls down, and you want a bit more of that bouncing ball effect to an extent. Maybe it has to be a little bit shorter in timing, but the spacing there of the hips, especially falling down, needs to be broken up a little bit more. And then as he slides down, again, it's the same deal, where it's kind of like he has to slide down quickly. So I think there's even some frames that you can take out here while he holds himself. And then he's got both fingers in the air on frame 411. He's kind of like giving the finger there somehow. I'm pretty sure that's a mistake that you're gonna kind of like solve immediately. But it's funny to actually just see that he actually has those fingers completely and utterly stiff. And then I think the guards could be bishops as well. I'm hoping that you're going to do that and that you have time to do that, because it would be actually quite cool, because you can sell a little bit of that attitude that they have. And then as he comes down and he gets hit, everything here is really good. You've got now a little bit more space to play around with the eyes and how he looks over around frame 570. So that area there where he looks over at the door, nice place to break things up, you know, with eyes, brow, head, and everything kind of like going in a nice overlap now as well. So you might want to favor, you know, that half turn of the head a little bit more, you know, so instead of him looking round that much, you want to get him to look at the door a little bit faster. And then as he kind of like runs over here, just he looks, as he does his anticipation on frame 184, he doesn't seem to be balancing properly to an extent. So I think you want to hit this hyperextension of the leg from frame 598 sooner, and you want to hold it as well. So he just hits that hyperextension just for one frame and he's instantly out. So it's almost like, don't anticipate, boom, then go out. So get into that pose faster, hold it for a couple of frames, having a bit of a lean there at a settle, but still with that leg straight, and then make him go for the door, and that will just make that scene that shot just a little bit stronger. And I think the jump that he does on frame 612 is really huge. You know, it's almost like he's jumping way up than he should be, and I think that jump should just be shorter. So instead of actually being a jump, boom, you know, like that, it's got to be more of a bump. You know, he's just dropping himself off the side of the actual concrete there. And as he gets into the door and he does his push, again, I think there's just a little bit of an opportunity there for him that when he does his kick, to break, you know, that kick up a little bit with the spacing. So again, it's one of those things that the foot, it just looks like it goes in and it drops down. There's no resistance, you know, and drop as it happens. So it's like, I think the spacing there just needs to be a little bit, you know, more angular to an extent to notice that it's an impact, because it's currently just reading as a little bit too soft. Okay, fantastic, but really good work, man. You know, it's looking really cool, and yeah, I'm anxious to see some more. Okay, so hopefully you'll have a great hand in this week as well. But yeah, if you need anything, just drop us a line. It's always great to check your work out, man. Keep animating. See you soon. Bye.